Dear brothers, it's about quality, not quantity.
So guys, it should be your conversation, the way you flow, your presence is enough for a woman to want to be around you, not how much money you spend.
Dear sisters, it's about knowing your value.
My sisters out there, don't be afraid to scare a guy off just because you have standards.
Dear brothers, dear sisters, it's time to come together.
Hey, welcome to another edition of DBDS Live. I'm your host, Mel Money, and I'm here with my sister, Nicole, the DBDS brand ambassador. How you feeling today, my sister? How are you feeling?
Hey, Mel, I'm doing good. Really excited about today's show. Hey, if you're tuning in, please invite all of your family and friends. It's going to be epic. Also, don't forget to check out the DBDS group page on Facebook and participate in our December contest. We are looking for a fly name for our new show segment coming in January. The winner will receive signed copies of Dear Brothers, Dear Sisters. Listen up. Hold on. Where's it at? Here it is. 1 month's free advertising right here on the show. And most importantly, bragging rights. So good luck, everyone. Mel, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. And listen, let's draw up that flyer again. You guys are coming up with some hot names. Just name that segment.
Oh, my goodness.
And we're definitely going to use that and we're going to rock with it. And we appreciate you guys rocking with DBDS. But
Absolutely.
Nicole, to answer your question, I'm feeling great, my sister, because we have an exciting show today in store for you because, we have to help our brothers and sisters today to keep that relationship spicy, or maybe you just want to take your time and dial back a little to view if someone is a truly good match for you. So see, some of these things we're going to talk about today is going to plant those seeds to help you in the long run. And I believe some of the information that will be displayed today will position our brothers and sisters to definitely get the relationship they desire. Because as we always say, man, put the entree first before the dessert so you can avoid any malnourished relationship, because at the end of the day, we want our brothers and sisters to have healthy relationships. So with that being said, today's show is titled Why Why Courting is Important. What you think of that topic, Nicole?
Another great topic as usual. A lot of people out there don't really know what courting is, much less understand its importance. So we are truly putting our motto into play today. Teach, learn, and live.
Absolutely. And for me, courting gradually is progressing the emotional intimacy. Even the dictionary term suggests that it's about committing to someone with a view to making it a solid and loving relationship. I mean, you're practically seeking love and affection of a person who's showing interest. So that's just a little glaze, So before we pivot to our show, I just want to give a special shout out to my brother Mo and his wife Gina, the whole DBDS family for rocking with us. We greatly appreciate it. And with that being said, it's time to get into the show.
Let's do it.
Absolutely. So we're going to bring our first guest into the studio. And the first one coming into the DBDS studio is my sister, Aisha.
Hey,
Aisha. Hey now.
Yes.
How's everyone doing today?
Oh, we're doing great. We're doing great. So tell the people a little bit about yourself, why you're on the show today, and where you're from.
My name is Aisha. I'm actually born and raised in New Haven, Connecticut, and I'm on the show as a personal invite from the host today, which I truly appreciate. They were on our show, which is Captain Hunter's podcast. You can find that on Facebook Live, YouTube, or Periscope every other Wednesday from at 7:30 p.m. So I'm here as an invite, like I said, to kind of have a very candid, transparent conversation about relationships and courting. And on our show, we do the same thing. So we are here with fellow brethren and sisterin. Further explore that topic with your audience today. So I am so happy to be able to be in your presence, to be here with my co-host, and to just really share and get you guys insight and feedback on, what's going on out here in the love world.
It's such an honor to have you on the show.
So happy to have
Thank you again. And now, time to bring in my brother into the DBDS Live studio, Captain Hunter. Hey, what's going on, my
brother? How's everyone?
Doing great. We're blessed, man. So tell the people a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and why you're on the show today.
Sure, absolutely. I'm here because Nicole threatened me. No, I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
don't tell him that. You better not tell him.
So I'm here because I have a podcast. I'm a former police officer, retired police captain after 24 years from the city of Waterbury in Connecticut, which we affectionately call the Dirty Water. That's where I was reared and grew up at and all that kind of good stuff. So after 24 years of service to the citizens of the city of Waterbury, I called it quits, retired. In good standing. Let me just put that out there. Nobody forced me off the job or anything like that. So, and I started a podcast called Captain Hunter's Podcast, and I started it because I wanted to have a dialogue about, most importantly, between the public, the people, and the police. You know, it seems so much that we are at each other's throats. And so I started this podcast before, the recent incidents of the George Floyd protests and all that kind of stuff. My goal is to bridge that divide between the police and the community. We all know that, or maybe some of us know that the Black community has been at odds with the police for quite some time now. And so I wanted to do what I could in order to benefit that relationship and see what I could do to turn those things around, just to do my little part. And so usually I focus about police and policing issues. I also have been gearing my podcast towards community issues, right? It's not fair to always ask the police to change, do this, do that, do this, do that. But I think that in particular, the Black community really has to take a look at ourselves and say, what do we need to do? So I try to focus on positive groups, positive role models, and everyone who's trying to make the Black community much better. I've done episodes about financial literacy, repairing your credit, Black women's hair, skin bleaching, education, all this type of thing. So I just think that's really important. And so we started a particular segment with my homegirl Aisha. So we call it messy entanglements. And how we got to that is because we realized that in order to fix many of the ills that are going on in the Black community, that we had to really take a serious look at the breakdown of the family, breakdown of communication between men and women, and figure out what's going on. And also, as we call the segment, messy entanglements, right? How are you getting into these situations that are no good for the man, no good for the woman, the kids are suffering and all that kind of stuff. So we started that. We've had a great time talking about it, and it's a lot of fun and a lot of laughs. And Aisha has been a really fantastic benefit to the show.
Wow, brother.
Amazing.
Well, thank you so much. First off, I just want to thank you for your service. Thank you for coming up with solutions to try to bridge the gap between police, law enforcement, and the community. Is so much needed in our world today. So I greatly appreciate that. So with that being said, I will always say, before we just jump into our show today, that love is a job with no retirement, especially if you want to fall in love over and over again with the same person, or maybe you want to have the potential to fall in love with someone that's out there for you. And from my perspective, it's important to understand that the way you treat your potential suitor when you're dating them and the way you treated them when you fall in love with them in the first place, it's the same way that you need to continue to treat them even after being married or being in an exclusive relationship or whatever title that's applied to represent your special relationship. But before we get deep with this topic, we have a DBDS Anonymous section where people post their thoughts, their issues, and they look for some feedback from us to help them guide them in the right direction. So I have my sister Nicole read the letter. Take it away, Nicole.
All right. So our DBDS brother says, "Hello, DBDS family. I'm looking for some great insight. I was in a relationship for 1 year with an amazing woman, but then we decided to take a break because the energy wasn't there and we just had lost the happiness we once had. So we thought a fresh start would help. The week after we started the break, her aunt died. We talked on the phone that night, but I didn't reach out for more than 3 months. She also never reached out. But she thought we were going to check in, and when I never did after her aunt's passing, she thought I was over the relationship, but I wasn't. I just really wanted the break to be no contact and thought she would reach out when she was ready. After not hearing from her for 14 weeks, I reached out. We talked a little and agreed to have dinner. She came over, told me she cared about me and wanted to be friends, but was enjoying working on herself and being single. I said I respected that, but I couldn't be just friends with her. Then we slept together. When she got home that night, she said we should hang out more. Then we texted the next day to set up a tentative meeting, still waiting to confirm when she she's free as she's back to school and working full time. We also talked on the phone for an hour or so later that night and kind of rehashed everything. She repeated that she was enjoying working on herself and she didn't want me to put my life on hold. So now here I am going back through the relationship courses with her to prove my love for her. To be honest, what I'm struggling with is, should I just disappear again or let her have her alone time? Or do I pursue us getting back together once a week or so, rebuilding the passion gradually? The energy and chemistry is still there, and I want her back. She took the time apart and used it well. Now she's more of the woman that I wanted or needed her to be. Or am I just setting myself up for a failed relationship? I'm not dating anyone else at this time. I'm 30 and she's 29 for reference, if that's important. Thank you for any thoughts.
Oh, okay. Well, brother, first of all, thank you so much for your letter, because it does take courage to open up. So don't worry. Listen, we have some experienced people with some great wisdoms who can, maybe put some nuggets out there to point you in the right direction. So I'm going to come first to my sister Aisha. What advice you have for this brother? What advice you have for this brother? How can we help him? How can we help him?
This brother is so candid and transparent. Thank you, brother, for sharing today and just giving us insight about these things that happen in relationships, because ultimately it's just a lack of communication. That's kind of like what I hear in this situation, besides what was going on prior to the breakup. I have a few thoughts about what's going on. Sometimes taking a break in a relationship is necessary. I think when parties choose to do that, they have to do it with clear understanding of how the relationship is going to look at the next level now. And I think sometimes we don't, it's so already difficult to lose that amount of contact and the frequency of seeing someone. So when you do decide, you know what, we need a break, each person needs to feel like, okay, this is what a break looks like to me. And you kind of hash that out and reach a compromise that's suitable for each person. And when breaks kind of happen like that, this is what we get. We get the back and forth, the sporadic contact, a major life event happens, somebody might reach out because that's somebody you care about, their soul is hurting, she lost an aunt, so you reach out and then boom, again there's nothing, then there's something, they get up, they have a nice fabulous night, they have a date. And I think what's key here is that the chemistry is still there, which is A+. So it's just really the communication to work on. What I would do, speak to her directly and ask her, okay, what does working on yourself look like, and do I fit into that equation? I think it's important to see, because sometimes when women, we like, oh, we working on ourselves, this is what we do, I'm working on myself, I gotta get this, I gotta deal with this. And sometimes I think the harsh reality is that we still want some level of male engagement. So whatever that may look like for her, that's this sister, he needs to ask her straight up, okay, so do I fit into that equation? Where do you actually see me and our level of contact? What works for you? What's comfortable for you? And talk about that, establish that boundary, and then rehash it, bring it back up, because if it's too much at one time, she needs to be able to be verbal to say that. If it's too much for him, because he did mention that he is uncomfortable, he doesn't want to just be friends. And that was another thing that I thought about too. This brother is like, I want to be in a relationship with this woman. He's being straight up with her. So at the end of the day, there's a piece of him that has to decide, am I willing to compromise for this love, or do I need to put myself first? But I think that decision needs to be made first, once he has a conversation with her and see where he fits into her mold. Because if he fits in, and they can kind of come up with a compromise, hey, once a week, maybe a good night phone call, good morning texts, whatever that may look like for her, the frequency needs to be discussed. If that could work for him as friends, then go for it. But if he feels like, nah, I want to see her every night, we need to be spending the night together, or whatever works for him, he needs to be able to honor himself too at the end of the day. But whatever's going on with that woman, because women, we go through so many different changes and things like that. And when you're in your late 20s, early 30s, so the woman is 29. I remember, I'm reflecting back at my life when I was 29. I really probably didn't know what I really wanted, and was probably more sporadic than anything. You know, I might have had something stable at one point, something happened. Now it's like, you know, I could be going in a whole nother direction. So at 29, he needs to be inquisitive enough to know, enough with her to know, as far as relationships, what are you really wanting, and see if it meshes with his future.
Very well said.
You got to be able to mesh together, to work together in any season, because at the end of the day, we still want it to be some level of comfort, because when it's comfortable, sex is great. So, I mean, that's my spill.
No, very well said. I mean, I like how you stated that he already told her up front, but it has to be some sort of communication to see what wavelength they on in order for it to progress to a whole different level. I'm coming to my brother, Captain Hunter. I mean, how can we help this brother out? What advice you have for him?
Okay, so yeah, I think this brother needs to really take a serious, hard look at himself to understand exactly what happened according to the letter. She told him point blank, "I want this." Then they slept together. Yeah. Then she told him the next day, I don't want this." So, I mean, he needs to really kind of get the point in the picture that she doesn't want this. She's working on herself, and it seems obvious and apparent from the letter, from his own words, that she doesn't want him, so for whatever reason. So maybe he needs to take a look at himself. She's working on herself, developing herself. She says that she's enjoying her single life and enjoying what she's doing. A lot of times we talk about communication. You need to listen and pick up what other people are putting down. So she's been very blunt about her feelings, her thoughts, and she didn't have a problem with sleeping with you. So maybe she just wants that type of relationship, and maybe wants to just continue to do her thing. But you need to realize, I think he needs to really analyze what we're saying. She may be everything that he wants, but is he everything that she wants? Or does she even want anything? So,
good point.
Yeah, you got to be able to read between the lines. Absolutely. Coming to my sister, Nicole. I mean, how can we help this brother?
Well, first, thank you, DBDS brother, excuse me, for reaching out. It takes a lot of courage to ask for help, and we're definitely here to help you. With that being said, let's talk about the no contact rule and exactly what that is. The no contact rule is where you don't call, text, or message an ex in any way after the breakup for the purpose of getting over them. The misconception is that this is a manipulative tactic used to get someone back. Like the saying goes, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Unfortunately, when you remove yourself from someone's life, you're only training them how to live without you, especially in the instance of grieving. Regardless of the relationship status, she probably really needed you at that point. And when you weren't there, she let go. This rule wasn't really designed for relationships where reconciliation is expected or planned. I mean, I really commend you both for being so mature in the situation and having assertive communication and healthy dialogue. However, I feel at this point, she's moved on, and sadly, I don't think that she'll be back. When people say things like, "Don't wait for me," or "I'll get back to you," it's an indication of a soft landing or easy letdown. So my advice would be, take this time to heal and learn from this experience. We truly wish you the best.
Yeah, I mean, wow, well said, Nicole. I'm just going to piggyback off what you stated. I mean, I believe that your attractiveness is always and merely a byproduct of you living your great life, to have options out there, because you're not tied down to anyone. And that should always be your main focus, to focus on yourself, and the right person will come along. However, brother, in your case, I'm going to address your letter. If you truly want an exclusive relationship with this sister, then you have to break the cycle of going back and forth. I mean, because the communication is wishy-washy at this point. And right now, non-verbally, you're communicating that this is a wishy-washy format. And it looks like you and her don't have any well-defined, I'll say, boundaries. Furthermore, when it's wishy-washy, then the potential to create a stable, healthy foundation will never happen. So every time you use, as Nicole stated, the the no contact zone, which is not merely used in this situation, you kind of like wait for her to reach out, and you subconsciously break the emotional intimacy portion to take it to the next level. At this point, I believe what should unite the two, if you two are on the same wavelength, but it sounds like she's not. You obviously you want more than just sex. You want something serious. You want the trust. You want the alliance between you two. But it sounds like to me that the picture is right on the wall. So you just have to change your scarcity mindset. Be cordial, have other options out there, because right now the way that you're going with this scarcity mindset, just focus on someone that's not really reciprocating, and there's a lack of communication. You may be missing out on someone that can truly be a great match for you. Okay. So again, thank you, brother, for your letter. And hey, now it's time to pivot to our show. So today's show is based on why courting is important. And the first topic that we're going to touch on is, and this is very important, provides the opportunity to get to know someone.
Ooh, that looks like fun.
That looks more than fun. Look like they have an engaging conversation and they just having a great time, right? So let me size this up. So, if you're serious about seeking love, then I would suggest during the friend zone phase to not, allow your emotions to overcloud your logic, because during this stage, you should gather enough data to see if your core values match. Chemistry is important, but what's also important is to see if you're compatible before a personal relationship is created. So I'm coming to my brother, Captain Hunter. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
Sure. So I think that courting is important because precisely as the point goes, is that it provides the opportunity to get to know someone. Take the time, take the effort, take the energy to send those texts, as Aisha said, the morning text, the good night text, to talk to each other throughout the day. See what your core values are. Don't rush into anything. And I'm assuming that we're talking about courting in this particular part before there's the actual determination to be in any type of LTR, long-term relationship, right? So take that time. Don't just rush into anything because of sex. Don't just rush into anything because she looks good, or because he looks good, or because he bought you flowers, or he got a nice ride, or he got his own apartment, or whatever. So take that time and really get to know all that surface stuff. The house, the car, the money, the gold, and he took you out and all that kind of stuff. Take that time to really get to know someone. We talked before about just getting to know someone above that surface value, right? Everybody's on their best behavior when you meet someone for the first time. So really kind of dig into them and figure out, how was your day? Get beneath that type of stuff, and what do you think about church or religion or politics or all that type of thing. Dig into them, because if you're talking about being in a long-term relationship, then that's what's going to matter, is what you see going forward, and can you guys really build a life. So really take that opportunity to really dig into them, and not just because as the old song goes, she's got a big butt and a smile, or he's got a big pocket. So
big package and a smile.
Yeah, big package and a smile. Big package, yeah. It's got to be more than that. Remix. So really take that opportunity to really find that stuff out. It's important.
Very well said, brother. Got to drop a bomb on that. That's the key, because if you're just attracted to the surface level, I mean, for all you know, you can be a Christian and the brother could be representing the devil, like going to a Satan church. So you got to get to know. I'm coming to my sister, Aisha. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
I think courting is beautiful. I wish that when it comes to the youth and younger people, I wish that when I was young, somebody told me a little bit more about how it goes, because it is a process, right? It's a process that may look different for everybody. As of right now, as of recent, me, myself, I'm thinking about courting, like, what does it mean to have like different people to court with? Not different people to sleep with, but different people to court with. Like, you get to know different personalities, because as we are growing and evolving as young, Black, beautiful, white beautiful Asian, beautiful people, Latin, beautiful people. We want to be able to explore. Okay,
You didn't forget any ethnic group, did you?
Right, I'm like, all of y'all.
Like, let's embrace everything, everybody, everything. We got to see what we need and what we want, and that may look different for everybody. So, having those transparent conversations, just really getting to know somebody, really is beneficial because it really dictates, what the relationship will actually look like. Do you have common interests? Could you go out to eat in public together and you like the way that they order their food, or the etiquette in a restaurant? You may go to a family cookout in the summer. You bring your friend that you're courting. Do they want your undivided attention at the cookout, or can they mix and mingle with other people well? Whatever arena that you like to be in, it's important that you test and see if your mate can handle that arena, and or whoever you're courting can handle that arena, because this is who we are. We are what we do. We are who we are. So whatever it is that we enjoy out of life, it's important to make sure that the person that we're dating could get the same level of enjoyment or be able to bask in it. In that particular thing, whether it be traveling, whether it be, just sitting on the back porch having a glass of wine, it could just taking a walk, there's certain things that really just do it for us, and it has to kind of just do it for that person in order for the courting phase to even work or whatever. So, I just think that courting within itself is beneficial. It gives you a wonderful time to be able to really get to know somebody and to see if you really like them. Because sometimes we can like just the physical about them, but do you really like the person?
Right.
Right.
Like really chilling and spending time with somebody that may like to smoke weed every day. That may like to sip on something. That may like to, just do anything. Like they may have an active workout life. They go to the gym every day. Do you want to deal with that? Could you get involved with that pace that the person has going on? So the pace of a person really dictates if you should divulge your energy to them or not, and courting provides that opportunity to do so.
Can I just jump in here? I really, really appreciated what you said. I really, really appreciated what you said about sitting in restaurants or going to a cookout and people being able to mingle. That to me is really, really important, because I've been with some people and just complete embarrassment in restaurants, yelling at the waitress. I mean, it was just, and or even the same thing as far as cookouts and stuff, or barbecues, whatever people call them, when you're outside eating.
Picnic.
Because if people can't mingle, you got to be their babysitter. You can't deal with that. So I really think and that really determines how you're going to interact, for the rest of your life. So I just want to say that was really important.
Thank you, Captain Hunter. And Aisha, that was fire.
Oh.
Great. That was the assist from Captain Hunter, pass it back. So I'm going to go to my DBDS sister, Nicole. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
Well, now you all see why I was so excited. This panel is straight fire. We're going to burn down the studio today, for real.
Yes,
anyway.
Burn it down.
So it's funny to me because when Mel and I appeared on the Captain Hunter's podcast, we touched on this briefly. So we all know when we first meet someone we're interested in, we bring our representative. We display our best qualities and leave our less desirable traits and bad habits at home, stuffed in the closet with R. Kelly, stuff way back in there. Then there are others who bring completely just a false persona, and their main objective is to deceive you. So how do you tell the difference? By investing time and actually getting to know the person. It's only after spending extended periods of time with someone that those layers of self-preservation begin to fall off. You naturally become more comfortable, more open, and you're able to be your true self. The process is organic. Or if you're dealing with a phony, This time spent will show you their true colors and you can bounce. I'll leave you with this question. Do you prefer fresh cut flowers from the store that will die in a week? Or do you want the seeds planted in rich soil that will develop deep roots and blossom over time? Time is so important.
Captain Hunter, like, man.
A world star on that one.
I mean, that is so true. That is so
I would
true.
drop a real mic, but I don't want to break it.
Drop the mic down, right?
Okay. At the root. Yeah.
So yes, I mean, so that's what I was gonna state. Like what you just stated, Nicole, is so true. We call those people counterfeit brothers and sisters because they fake it in the $2 bill, you know. And my grandmother once said that, you know, only fools rush in, and at this level. And at this level, you should always, I feel like, gather information before you commit to a personal relationship. Because as everyone stated on the panel, it's easy to put your best foot forward on scheduled dates for a few hours, but it's harder to maintain a false front for long periods of time and under stress. Just like my brother Captain Hunter stated, you know, you don't know if the brother has an emotional outburst. You know, you don't know how they react around you or how they react towards someone else. Because the reality is, if you only follow your emotions without any personal relationship principles, or if you bend your standards just a little, just to show someone how much you like them, trust me, you're going to disregard the red flags. Red flags such as the emotional outburst, or being used for sexual pleasure, or being used for financial gain, or having access to anything that you may possess for them to benefit off of without any reciprocation. It's like, you know, diving into a 3-foot pool. You're bound to hit your head on the floor before you do any work to swim to the top. And that's what usually happens when people dive in too fast. So my thing is just take your time so that way you can have a delicate balance with that emotional and logical connection. All right.
Can I say something else? Yeah. Can we get some fire? I got something to say.
Oh.
You gotta say the thing first before the fire. You can't just. You gotta. She like I know it's gonna be fire. Go ahead and drop it. Go ahead and drop it.
No.
You can't drop the mic, then you won't have a mic to speak into.
I wanted him to get his fire because he was giving fire. He was
okay. Appreciate
Shabelle was giving that fire. Listen. But this is what I think is important, and important message that we got to take it there, because a lot of times, you know, we can be ruled by our flesh and our desire. You know what I'm saying, right? So the thing is that most importantly, if you want to court people or date people, you gotta be honest. Hey, you know what? I'm just looking to get together. I have some fun or whatever. Like women, men, whoever. You know, so that way there's no misleading, and you're not like hurting someone. You're telling them straight up, and they have the choice whether or not they want to engage with you like that. You know, and I think that intro is so very important, because it really will dictate if a person decides they want to go for the plunge, or they want to just, you know, take their time and step back, or, you know, take a different approach with a different individual. So being honest in the courting phase is so very important.
Absolutely.
She's right. Fire.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna have to drop the fire that one. So now
it's hot.
So before we pivot to our next subtopic, we do have our viewers watching, so I'm gonna piggyback on some of our viewers. Let's go to the first one.
Now I think that's Michelle, right? Says hi, Aisha.
Yeah, that's Michelle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Am I not here,
that
Michelle?
from our show.
Am I not here?
All right. Next coming from Michelle. Here we go.
Oh,
She
okay.
says,
Okay.
Hi, Lawrence. I hope that is not a Giants hat. Let's see what it is.
It's not. It's a Detroit.
Prove it.
Detroit hat. Detroit.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I like that.
I got you, Michelle.
All right. Next one from Michelle again. Thank you for these comments.
Well said. Where do you fit in? Directness. I think that was in regards to the letter, the advice Aisha gave about the letter.
Next one right here.
Facebook user says, hey, y'all.
It's actually Tronisha.
Tronisha. Oh, my God. Model
That's
extraordinaire.
an awesome name.
Right? She's
Yes.
dope.
And the last one,
I'm going to change mine to person.
and this is from Tiffany.
Tiffany
Hey,
says
Tiff.
hello.
All right.
Hello.
Love it. Thank you so much for tuning in, my people. So we're going to keep it flowing. We're going to go to our next subtopic. And the next one is the close cousin. And that is compatibility and chemistry. You see, they're having the time of their life, despite the pandemic. You know, because they got
Right?
that
No
compatibility,
masks.
right? And chemistry. So let me size this up. So, I mean, during the courting phase, in order to attract the right partner, you need both. I mean, you need the emotional connection in which you can develop an intimate bond with that particular person. And you also need to be able to view their moral codes and values to see if it match with yourself. So that way you can see if you can exist in a relationship with this particular partner. If one is lacking a great deal, then it will make the relationship even more challenging. So I'm coming to my sister Aisha. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
Am I gonna always be first? No, just kidding.
Just every other time. Just every other.
Compatibility and chemistry. I mean, it's something that we can't ignore, because if the chemistry is not there, then what is there? Nothing. So at the end of the day, you gotta have the chemistry. And when you have chemistry, most times, of all times, there's compatibility there. There's something that you guys are talking about. There's something that you're doing together that's causing you guys to connect energy-wise. And I think that when you are having dialogue about these two things, like, you need to identify what it is. Like, is it lust, or is it we're really connecting on a soul deep level? Like, you have to identify specifically what's causing the chemistry and what's causing the compatibility. Because if it's just sex, then that's what it will be. Like, after the sex, then what? No good convo. Like, if there's no mental connection and you guys are connected in other ways that are healthy, then it's just really going to be something short term. You know how they say you with somebody and they're supposed to be like your best friend.
Right.
That's where the compatibility and chemistry comes into play, as far as I'm concerned, because best friends, they talk about anything, no holds barred, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Ooh. It's a difficult conversation. So when you're compatible with each other in the good and bad and ugly, the chemistry will automatically be there. You guys will soar. You guys will be able to weather things. If you're able to communicate on that level, to know that, okay, I need to be able to be my true self, and I need to be able to know myself, to know if I'm really truly compatible with this person for something long term. For something short term, that's a whole nother convo. But for something long term, compatibility, chemistry is very important, and I feel like it goes hand in hand with the level of transparency and vulnerability that's occurring in this particular level of engagement.
I love it. It's sort of like how you just broke it down. It's like having.
Aisha, how are you not on TV?
So
with you guys, I love it.
I love it too. Love it. And I love how you broke that down, Aisha. It's sort of like having your best friend and lover in a long-term committed contract, which is extremely important. I'm coming to my brother, Captain Hunter. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
So I think that the previous topic, we talked about really digging into them as far as their nature and everything like that. So here I would say that this is more of the physical. You want to see, is the chemistry there? How is it when you look into each other's eyes? Do you have those pheromones? I know people debate whether humans actually have them or whatever, but is all that really there? And yeah, I agree with Aisha. If you don't have that, then everything else can certainly and soon fizzle out. So you want to make sure that you are, during this courting process, that you are digging into them, seeing how they behave in restaurants or at church or what their political beliefs are. But then you also want to make sure that when that person walks in the room, you want to rip their clothes off, right? That's important. Mm-hmm. That's important. And yeah. The captain could go there every once in a while. You go ahead and drop a bomb right now.
Man. Stop.
I got to steal from Aisha. You go ahead. Listen, I'm about to talk. Go ahead and drop this bomb before I talk. I'm hearing this in my own head. I know it's hot. Go ahead.
Look at that, man. You got Nicole over here sweating. Before you calm down, Nicole, what are your thoughts on this topic, Nicole?
Oh, you want me to go now?
Yeah, give us that fire. Give us that fire.
So I'm gonna get myself together. I mean, pretty much reiterating everything that the panel already said. Chemistry and compatibility, I think, are equally important and revealed during the courting process. Chemistry is more about natural vibe, their personality, sense of humor, and of course, physical attraction. And compatibility is really the meat and potatoes of any successful relationship. It's based on common values and life goals, such as religious views, political views. Do they want kids? Where do they want to live? Do they want to be married? And so on. These are both essential components. And like Aisha said, they go hand in hand. It's nearly impossible to have one and not the other. Could it work if you are ridiculously physically attracted to them, but they believe in polygamy and you believe in monogamy? Could it work if you have identical future goals regarding marriage and children, but there's no spark or sexual chemistry? Probably not. We often tend to settle and accept less than we deserve due to fear. But I assure you, if you skip compatibility and chemistry, your relationship will be built on a very, very shaky foundation.
Very well said, Nicole, because you don't have those two, can't tell if you're coming or going in a relationship. So, I mean, very well said, because, during the courting phase, both are needed, as everyone stated, because the reality is, a lot of people get into relationships based on emotions alone, and yet they don't think about their future. They don't think about their children's future. They don't think about the future of their business, their health. From my perspective, it doesn't make any sense to get into a relationship with someone who will bring you down emotionally, physically, financially, or spiritually. And sadly, lots of brothers and sisters allow the idea to be in love to trump everything over logic, or the chemistry aspect to override the compatibility factor. For example, it doesn't make any logical sense to be with someone who never kept a job no longer than 6 months, yet you're the type of person that's very productive and active. You can't be with someone that demonstrates laziness on a consistent basis, or one who hasn't been in a relationship no longer than 2 months. They just keep on swapping, rotating. So these are the things that you should pay attention to. That's why it's crucial to, have a rational mind, but at the same time, trust your instinct if something doesn't feel right to you. Okay.
Fire.
All right, my peoples, we're gonna take a quick commercial break. This is DBDS Live. Sit tight. Don't go anywhere.
So many people are calling for police reform. And so because they're calling for police reform, they may not understand that there are many organizations who are already responding.
And I feel like you have to really get to know people, see if they share the same core values as you before you get involved with them.
I want to ask a question as to how we got to this place right here, where mask wearing, where COVID-19, where public health is all politicized. I really want you all to think about this. How did we get to this particular point?
It's really a nice balance when femininity and masculinity can mix together and just create this awesome, experience.
Are you single? Do you know about DBDSsingles.com? Are you ready to meet a quality man or classy woman? The DBDS brothers want you to know that love and loyalty still exists. So if you're ready to meet relationship-ready people, sign up today at DBDSsingles.com. Let's make love and loyalty dope again.
Hey, welcome back to the DBDS Live Studio. I'm here with my sister Aisha, my brother Captain Hunter, my DBDS brand ambassador Nicole. We've been chopping it up, talking about why courting is important. But before we continue with the show, I'd like to give some shout outs to my peoples out there that's watching. Special shout out to Aquarius, Bell Rara, Jamal, Tiffany Braces. Thank you for watching. Sabrina Willis, my boy Anthony Lockett, Tranisha, Nikisha, my wife April. Thank you,
Hey,
baby.
April.
Thank you. Absolutely. Tania, China, Nikisha. So many names to mention. Oh, I got my brother Gotham from India, all across the other side of the world watching.
National.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. All right. And any shout outs you want to give, Nicole, as well?
Yes, so our contest for the December picking a name for our new segment, I wanted to mention the people that have given us some awesome names already. So shout out to Sadi, aka Shadow, Breon Edwards, who is a guest on our show, Jerdy Plies, Dewan Subrosa, Ken Lawrence, Errol Blair, and Julia Smith. Thank you so much for your ideas. Keep the names coming. We have some great prizes and are excited to get that segment rolling in January.
Thank you so much, my sister. So we're going to keep the show rolling and flowing. So the next topic that we're going to talk about is not not feeling rushed or smothered. You can see the brother right here, like, baby, I'll do anything. Just please. And she's like, pump the brakes. Take your time, brother.
Right. Back off, homie.
Man, so I'm going to just size this up. So listen, it's good during the courting phase to get to know the ins and outs about a person because it allows you to see if they display any desperate or needy behavior. Because contrary to that sort of behavior, a person is supposed to feel free within a relationship, not locked down. And also, you can't force the one to be with you. So I'm coming to my brother, Captain Hunter. What are your thoughts?
Why you gotta come to me? Don't listen to Aisha. Don't listen to Aisha. This is your show. This is your show.
She was dancing and everything. You got it. You got it, Captain.
That's right.
Yeah. So I think that's really, really important not to feel rushed and smothered, and to take the courting process seriously. To really try to take your time and get to know all the items that we already mentioned. People can be so in love. I think you said this, Mel. So in love with the idea of being in love that they want to just get married immediately, or they want to lock you down into a long-term relationship after they met you, a week ago, and now they want to, exchange rings and move in and all this kind of stuff. So take your time and do all the things that we just talked about before, and don't feel pressured or rushed. And if someone is pressuring you or rushing you because they say they have other options, or because they want to get married, or because their biological clock is ticking or whatever, pump the brakes in time to call a timeout and go to your corner and maybe let them know where you stand. And also that's whole smothering thing.
I was kidding. Sorry.
What's that?
I said I'm not going to. Sorry, I'm not having a moment. Sorry.
It's all good.
Okay, we might have to explore that. Did somebody tell you you could record before? That might be a whole other show. Did you told to go in the corner? So the other point is about the being smothering, right? So nobody wants to feel smothered, and don't be a smotherer. And most importantly, right? Try to understand if you're going too far in your texts and phone calls, and you're as a former police officer, obviously there's many situations where we had to go deal with people who were texting people, calling people numerous times, right? There's harassment laws, and you blowing somebody's phone up because you haven't heard from them in 2 hours, and you just call them. Well, they might be taking a nap, or they might be in their job, or whatever. So you might want to really do some internal reflections on yourself particularly if during the courting process. We're not even talking about long-term relationships. We're not even talking about during the courting process. You out there blowing somebody's phone up because they even talked to you. You might want to go seek some serious help.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Nah.
Just saying.
It may work in the movies, man, but if you got that mindset, get prepared to get a restraining order. I'm coming to my sister Aisha.
Hashtag facts.
I'm coming to my sister Aisha. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
Not feeling rushed or smothered in dating. Interesting. I'm thinking more along the lines of balance. Like, if you're dating someone and they expect that you just gotta be with them all the time. That's what I'm thinking about being smothered. Like, just smothering. Like, you know, nobody wants to be smothered. Get me out of the headlock, please. No, I'm just saying, no, seriously. When you're dating someone, you really need to take into consideration how that person spends their time. How that person spends their time outside of you. Because I think when people are rushing or being smothery, it's smothery, a new word. It's more probably coming from their past experiences, especially if they got trust issues and things like that. So smothering can come up in a lot of different ways. Some people, when they do get in relationships, even in the courting phase, they just want to just deal with that person and that's it. Like, they don't want to hear, oh, I'm going to go chill with my boys, or, people, some people just want you to just spend all their time with them, any type of free time. Which is like, it really is an indication of something else is going on a deeper level. You know what I mean? Right. And then there's people that respond to that and give themselves to that person. And then the people that are important to that person that's given into the smotherer, they become affected. It could be their kids. It could be other loved ones. So when we think about not rushing people and smothering people, we want to think about the respect that we have for that person. And if we are smothering them or rushing them, we got to think about why, as individuals, if that's going on in any phase, because it's important for people to have balance. You want to miss your partner. You want to be able to come back to them and be like, hey, this is what happened. You can't do that if you're spending 24 hours a day with,
right.
one particular person.
Exactly.
And a lot of times when this comes up too, smothering and rushing people, there's like attachment issues. Like we get too clingy or too attached to a person just because we may have issues of abandonment. We got to talk about that. Yeah, we got to go to the root of that soil that you was talking about earlier, Nicole, and really dig up in that soil and make sure that when we are coming into these relationships that you can make them fresh and not what you feel like you need to be getting. The energy from your man should not be the energy you really longed for from your dad. So you're smothering the person. Or your mother abandoned you, or your mother mistreated you, or called you all types of names, was verbally disrespectful, called you stupid, whatever. Now you get a girlfriend, you want them to be like your mother. Like, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that anymore. We want to break down those unhealthy, dysfunctional ways of engaging with one another, because everybody has a story. It's just where you're at in your own story. So that's what I'll say about that.
Mic drop.
I came to bring the pain. I am so extra. I'm sorry.
Facts. I'm coming to my sister Nicole. What are your thoughts on this topic?
Well, here's the thing. You expect me to go after them. How am I supposed to? All right. So here's my thought process.
You can do it.
Not smother me. I am not a burrito. I might be a snack, but I'm not a smotherable type of food. Don't do it.
I am not a pork chop.
No. A rack of lamb, maybe.
Okay.
I am not smothered rice and chicken. Knock it off.
I'm a snack. Just to hold you over. Anyway. So the beauty of courtship is this is like a free trial period, right? Try before you buy. Both parties may be exclusively seeing each other, but there's more freedom to be yourself, still focusing on your own goals, all while getting to know that special person. Instead of being preoccupied with relationship rules and guidelines prematurely, you use this time to simply learn one another. Then eventually make a well-informed decision if they are right for you or not. Over time, your logic isn't clouded by the surge of hormones and the excitement of meeting someone new. That's when you can focus on who this person really is. When you establish this foundation first, those relationship rules will naturally develop as you learn each other's likes, dislikes, insecurities, and fears.
Very well said. Very well said. Something, Captain Hunter? Want to add something?
Yeah, no, that was definitely that almost deserves two firebombs.
Go ahead, Captain Hunter.
I want to ask a question, and I know you want to. I think you want to chime in, Mel, but I just want to ask a question. It's not my show. I really want to ask this. What do you say, or what do you do to someone who is doing the rushing? Right? We talked about, if you're feeling rushed, you might want to back up. But I like to hear everyone observations about when someone's trying to do it. Right? You're just forcing your way. I met this guy, I met this gal, and they're just so right. Let me try to rush in. How would you say somebody deals with that?
How you tell them to deal with that? I mean, if it's on a consistent basis with the texting, the calling on, that's where the transparency conversation have to come to play. You have to tell that person to pump your brakes, because when someone has that mindset, that's almost like an emotional dependency. As Aisha stated, there's some underlining core issues behind that as to why someone wants to be underneath you 24/7, as if they don't have their own life, So yes, I mean, if someone is being smothered, that individual will have to communicate, to that person, and state that, listen, you have to slow down because I feel uncomfortable. And to the smotherer that's doing it, they need to take a look in the mirror themselves, or as I mentioned earlier, they may get a restraining order. They need to slow down. Nicole, what's your thoughts?
Easy. I would just bring Ludacris into the picture and be like, get back. You don't know me like that. As soon as someone,
I thought you could do the other one. Move.
Right, get out of the way. I'm doing 100 on the highway. I need you to not do 100 on my highway. To me, that's a red flag. If you're rushing me, I'm probably going to put you in the no contact zone because there are underlying issues for why you're rushing me, and I'm just going to back off and be done with it.
Yeah.
What about you, Aisha? What's your quick brief thought on that?
When people are doing it, like basically, how do you respond to it? You got to just verbally let them know, like, listen, like the way that you move, I have a different pace. And so I'm assertive. Like, so my thing is that I need to be assertive about what's comfortable for me. So I think a way to resolve that and to deal with that, hey, you know what? We're moving at a different pace. Maybe you want something more that I can't give or whatever. Or if I've had situations too where I think as we become older, we don't be blowing up nobody's phone. I would hope nobody at 40 something is blowing phone. I don't know.
It happens.
But it's happening. I know, right? If it's happening, then we have to just assert ourselves and say, hey, this is what's really comfortable for me. If you want to continue to rock out and have a vibe or a conversation or a connection with me, I need this type of flow. I think this is important. And I think that, it's cool when both people are, doing it the same way, but what happens is that when you start doing things prematurely, like I'm gonna speak from a woman's perspective. You start having sex, you have sex with a guy. Now you all feeling yourself, you all open. You like, oh, I want. Let me reach out. Let me do this. Let me do that. And that's what causes that feeling of rushiness or smothering. And we got to understand what's the intent, what's going on with us when we're doing that to people, because we know it's inappropriate. When you don't be like obedient to your own spirit and you just have your own selfish intentions in mind, like you want to overly communicate or you want to reach out to somebody knowing that they may be at work or whatever, then it's just immaturity. And I'm just gonna just sway away from that.
All right, very well said. So we're going to take our very last commercial break. When we come back, that's right, it's about that time, our Jerry Springer moment. So sit tight. This is DBDS Live. We'll be right back.
So many people are calling for police reform. And so because they're calling for police reform, they may not understand that there are many organizations who are already responding.
And I feel like you have to really get to know people, see if they share the same core values as you before you get involved with them.
I want to ask a question as to how we got to this place right here, where mask wearing, where COVID-19, where public health is all politicized. I really want you all to think about this. How did we get to this particular point?
It's really a nice balance when femininity and masculinity can mix together and just create this awesome, experience.
Hey, welcome back to DBDS Live, and make sure you check out Captain Hunter's podcast. It's such an amazing knowledge base. And also, I just want to give a shout out to my daughters. They're watching the show right about it. My daughter Aisha watching the show. Thank you for that. So I'm here with my brother Captain Hunter, my sister Aisha, and my DBDS brand ambassador Nicole. And listen, we just been dropping knowledge and wisdom today. And if you missed this show, don't worry, it will be on heavy rotation throughout the week. So make sure you check that notification. So now I am coming to my sister Aisha.
Aisha.
I'm ready.
What are your final thoughts for our audience? What are your final thoughts for today's show?
I want to say, because I don't know what your viewing audience is, what age group or whatever, but I would say that whatever you're looking for when it comes to dealing with the opposite sex or whoever you choose to engage with, just make sure you're clear on what you really want. And if you don't know what you really want, you got to say that. Sometimes we have to have courage to say where we're at. And it's not always easy. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times we're raised in, especially communities of color, to not really know how to be able to express ourselves. We just kind of do. We're responsive. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, when it comes to dealing with the other counterpart, make sure you're very clear on what you want. Even if it seems abnormal to the other person, at the end of the day, you know that you honor yourself. You know that you're being very forthcoming about, okay, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm kind of going through. Here's a little snapshot, not the full throttle, but be transparent in what you want, how you view that person, and really take an approach to always do something different in your dating game. Don't always date the same. Don't date each woman the same. You know what I mean? Like, don't do the same things that you're doing with one person with another if you're dating multiple people. Be honest. Hey, I'm dating multiple people, or even if you got to say I'm dating multiple people, but I'm just choosing to be intimate with you. Right now, we're not ready for a relationship, but I just want to be honest. Take the risk, because women, you will really get to learn a woman the more honest you be with her.
Yes.
You will see if she can handle who you are as an individual. And that's what it's all about. Could a person handle who you are, that whoever you bring to the table? So in the beginning, be as transparent and be honest as you can. I'm not saying spill your whole beans, but I'm saying, just be honest in what you want, what you're looking for. And if you're out there serial dating, say I'm a serial dater. If you're out there serially penetrating people, say, hey, I'm open.
Just say I'm.
You know what I'm saying? Be honest, because you know what? That karma is very real. It comes back to you. And if you don't feel it in your lifetime, it may hit your children. So, or just other people that's around you that's looking up to you. So my thing, courting phase, be honest.
Thank you so much for your final thoughts. And now I'm coming to Captain Hunter. What are your final thoughts for today's show?
Yeah, I really think that anyone who's tuned into the show really can get some serious information. We had a lot of laughs, but I really believe that Aisha, Nicole, and you, Mel, really dropped some serious knowledge and information, and that people, if they would abide by it, can really enhance their life and ultimately their long-term relationships because they've done right in the courting process. So understand what the courting process is, and take it seriously, right? Get to know that person, check out your chemistry, see if you're compatible. Don't smother, and I really think that and don't rush or be rushed, right? So and watch out and make sure that you're not the subject of some restraining order because you have some issues, because you have some issues. Work on yourself in during your time. And that first letter that we read. Really, kind of the woman and it seems as if she said, "I know what I want," and you don't. And so figure that thing out and know yourself before you try to be with someone else. Take the courting relationship seriously. Understand what it is. It's not an exclusive just because I got your phone number or your Instagram or whatever kids are doing nowadays and how you're communicating. Now you don't think you can communicate with anyone else. Understand where you're at, respect where you're at. And even demand where you're at. Okay, this is what I expect. This is what I want. If you can't give me that, okay, well, it's time to move on, right? Understand that. And lastly, well, I got two more things to say. One of the last things is don't let the courting relationship stop, right? If you do get into that LTR, whether you move in together or get married or whatever you're doing, don't let it stop. Continue to go on those dates. Continue to make time for each other. As we mentioned, doesn't have to be 24 hours a day. Let someone else breathe. But continue to nurture that relationship, go on those dates and all that type of thing. And finally, when you are in the courting process, make sure that you pick up Captain Hunter's podcast or Captain Hunter's book, Police Reform, right? Make sure you guys go out there and get this book. Hit me up, CPTL Hunter. That's on Instagram, or Captain Hunter's podcast. Look us up. Make sure you check out the podcast. It's available in audio wherever podcasts are listened to, as well as Facebook, YouTube, Captain Hunter's podcast. Just Google it; it should come up. And when you're down, and you got, like I said, you got some separation time from your loved one. If you can't find anyone else to court with or snuggle up with, make sure you snuggle up with this good book here about police reform. And so you guys can become, so you have something to talk about when you go on those courting dates, right?
Beautiful.
Love it. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. And now I'm coming to my sister, Nicole. What are your final thoughts for today's show?
So before giving my final thoughts, I just want to thank the incredible Captain Hunter podcast squad for coming on our show today. Lawrence, Aisha, you two are extremely insightful and hilarious. We look forward to seeing you on the show again.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
To all of my DBDS brothers and sisters, while you're courting, it is all about you too. You got to view this stage like Christmas Eve. All of the excitement of wrapping presents, baking cookies, singing Christmas carols, looking forward to what the next day brings. Then view the relationship like Christmas Day. You get up to open everything that you've been waiting for. You enjoy great company and great food. But at the end of the day, you have responsibilities. You have to clean the kitchen. You have to take out the trash, throw away tons of wrapping paper, figure out how to get your drunk ass Uncle Earl off the couch and home safely. The responsibilities don't take away from the enjoyment of the day, but they're definitely not as fun. So take your time and enjoy Christmas Eve. Build a foundation that is capable of handling Christmas Day. With that being said, always love yourself first, and the right one will find you.
Thank you so very much, Nicole. And I just want to state, listen, get Captain Hunter's book. I got my own copy. It's a really great read.
Mine's in the mail.
Really breaking things down. Appreciate that. Also, I just appreciate this amazing panel. Aisha, Captain Hunter, you guys are simply amazing. And thank you for the wisdom and knowledge that you shared on our show today.
Right? Absolutely.
So I just want to finish off.
Thank you, guys. We really
welcome.
appreciate it. Yeah. And Tramel, we grew up seeing each other as youth. You know what I mean? So you always are very well respected in my heart. I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate Nicole connecting with you guys, and you just really setting the platform and being an example for our young people, for people my age. Keep doing what you're doing and keep just fighting the good fight, brother.
Oh, greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much, Aisha, for that. Greatly appreciate it. So I just want to finish off and state that once you start looking at your time as currency, you will be more picky who you spend it with. And this will prompt you to gather more information to see if this person is a good fit to take it to the next level. As a rule of thumb, you should treat the courting phase as if you're doing an extensive research on a car you may want to purchase or a house you may want to purchase before you sign your name on the dotted line. And to my brothers and sisters in serious relationships, as Captain Hunter stated, make sure you continue to court and date your significant other so that way your emotional connection will remain intact and continue to get stronger over time.
Yo, Mel Money, send us off. Bye, everybody.
Bye.